When you're getting started with Google Drive, the first thing you want to do is log into your Google Drive via the internet. Go to the school's website and then log into your email using the next mail link in the top right hand corner here. That will bring up the internet-based email login page. Put in your username and password, which you use to access school network resources, and that will take you to your email. If you use Outlook, you're probably not used to seeing this, but if you use Gmail, then this is what you always use to access your email. It's essentially a Google account, which means that we've got access to Google Drive. The link to Drive is up in the top here, on the black bar, and it's the word Drive. If you click on that, that'll start a new tab. As you can see, it's done up here, and it will load your Google Drive for the first time. You'll see that you're logged in. There's my username. It'll be defaulted to my drive, which at this point in time is empty because I have nothing there. You can begin creating documents straight away if you wished, but we'll talk about that in time. And you get a bunch of welcome messages telling you about some of the benefits of Google Drive. Okay, so you've logged into your Google Drive and you're looking at your welcome page. So the first thing you want to do is to follow the prompt right here and to install Google Drive for the PC. You click on Install Google Drive. You need to accept terms and conditions. And it's installed. The first thing that we need to do is sign in. So it's going to prompt us to sign in. We need to put our full email address in here. And this is something that you only need to do once on the computer which you work at. You then put in your password, which you use to access your school account or your email. When you sign in, it's going to have a bit of a problem with that. And you just click on continue. That will take us back to our school login page. You probably remember this one. Put in your details again, and this is going to now sign us into Google Drive. This is something which you only need to do once on your dedicated computer. So that could be the computer which you use at school or the computer which you use at home. You don't want to be setting this up on every computer around the school. You only want to set it up on the ones which you work at almost all the time. So it's going to have created a folder on this computer, the one I'm working on, which is a Google Drive folder. Anything which is up on the web is going to be synced to that folder all the time, and there's 5 gig of free space. Click on Start Sync. It's going to create the folder for me. It would sync if I had any files in it, but because I don't have any files in it at this time, it's empty. So we've installed Google Drive on the PC, and we know we've been successful because we've got a Google Drive link or icon here in the Start menu. And when I go to my computer in Windows Explorer, I've now got a Google Drive folder here. If I open that up, you can see that it's currently empty. So at this point in time, most of my documents are stored either on this computer or in my Z drive. Now I've decided that I'm going to begin all of my work for next year on my Google Drive. And so within my folder structure here on my Z drive, I've got a folder, and I've decided that and everything within it, for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to move there. Now if you're a student, it may well just be that you're going to move your entire contents of your Z drive up into Google Drive. Now it's very easy to do this. All you have to do is grab that folder, drag it, and drop it into your Google Drive. If we now go to Google Drive, there's an IST folder in there and these 2 Word documents. So what exactly is happening? Well, right now it's syncing using the Google Drive app. It's syncing those 2 documents up onto our Google Drive. So here I am back at my Google Drive, and you'll see no longer is there the welcome messages, but rather there's an IST folder. And if I click into that, here's 2 Word documents that have just been sunk immediately from my Z drive up into my Google Drive. So it really is a simple process. To move documents from your Z drive to your Google Drive, you just need to go into your Z drive and drag the folders containing those documents onto your Google Drive. It'll create a copy of them in there and it will sync it up to your Google Drive. The Google Drive app in many ways is the thing that makes Google Drive work well. And if you're going to use Google Drive, you should ensure that you install this on your PC. And if you're going to be accessing your Google Drive at home, you should also install the app on your PC at home. So if I can make the point again, Google Drive really does work best when you have a dedicated computer which you always work at, and you would set up your Google Drive on that computer. So we've moved some documents, Microsoft Word documents in this case, from our Z drive up onto our Google Drive. So how do we work with them now that they're located on the cloud on a Google Drive? If I try to open up the Word document from here, it's only going to give me a read-only copy. That's not very useful because I actually want to make changes to the document. I can't actually make changes here. So what I need to do is go back to my Google Drive folder, open it up from there, and it'll use Microsoft Office on this computer to open up the document, and I can continue working on it. Once I've done the changes, I can press save. What that's going to do is save the document here in my Google Drive, but at the same time, it's going to update the copy of this document on my Google Drive in the cloud. So here it is at 4:35 updated. That would mean that if I open it now, the read-only copy is going to include those changes. So using Microsoft Office documents on your Google Drive works best when you have the Google Drive app installed and you have Microsoft Office on the computers you work on. Now to illustrate that further, if I want to create a brand new document and save it on my Google Drive, I'd open up Microsoft Word, I would create my new document with all the bits and pieces, but when I go to save, I don't save it to my Z drive, rather I just save it to my Google Drive. Press save as, it's saved it, and we're going to see it pop up here on my Google Drive almost instantaneously. Same again, it's a Word document, so it's a read-only copy, but it's now stored on my Google Drive, and as long as I've got the Google Drive app on the PC, I can access it quite easily whether I'm at school on my school computer or whether I'm at home on my home computer. So working with Microsoft Office documents, whether they're Word, PowerPoint or Excel, is all the same, and it's quite easy on Google Drive as long as you've got the Google Drive app. One of the benefits of Google Drive is its ability to work between computers. So if you have a computer at school that you work on and you've got a computer at home, you can set up the Google Drive app on both computers and then work between them. So this is a Windows XP computer, different to my other computer, and if I press start here and go to my computer, you'll see that Google Drive isn't actually listed, just all the physical devices are because it's a Windows XP computer. But if I click on my documents, I'll see my Google Drive in there, it's already installed, or otherwise I can access it from the actual start menu once again. So if I open up my Google Drive, you know, I've already logged in, it's already sunk and all the rest to this PC, and so here is those files and folders which we were working on previously. And so what it's actually done is it's brought a copy of those down onto this computer for me to be able to work on here. So I could just as easily go to this new document, which we worked on before, open it here from the Google Drive folder on the computer. That'll open up in Microsoft Word, and I can add in another line. So I could possibly be at home. I was working on this today at school. If I now save that document, it's going to save a copy of that, and once again it's going to sync. Now this is being Windows XP, you would have seen the little arrows there, and if I go back to my email account go to my Google Drive. That's going to open up my Drive folder. One thing to note here, I am using Windows Explorer, so it's probably going to complain about the fact that I'm doing that. Here it is. It doesn't like Windows Explorer. I can just dismiss that. It says that it's not a modern browser. If I go into the IST folder, we'll see, just like we did before, this document has now been updated, and if I click on that, it'll just produce this read-only copy for us. So there you go. You can quite easily install your Google Drive folder onto your other computers that you work on, and then anything you do at school will be automatically synced to those computers, so that when you access them, you'll find that you'll be able to continue working on your documents, and vice versa back at school. So here I am back on my other computer, the Windows 7 computer, and Google Drive has of course synced any changes which I'd made on the other computer, and they're available here for me to access either directly via Google Drive or via my Google Drive folder. So the big question I think which you have to make a decision about is, are you going to use Google Drive exclusively as a place to store all of your documents? Or are you going to try to use it more like a USB drive where you just put things into? Now, I think it's quite capable of storing all of your documents. It can quite easily put up PDF files, sound files, Word, Excel, PowerPoint files. You can put anything into your Google Drive folder, and it will put a copy of it up onto your cloud, onto your Google Drive cloud folder, and when you get to your other computer, it'll be available for you there to access. It also means that from your mobile devices, you can access read-only copies of documents stored on your Google Drive, depending upon the format of the document. What I would advise against is trying to keep versions of documents in both your Google Drive and your Z Drive. I think you could get yourself in quite a pickle forgetting whereabouts the most recent document is. Is it on my Z Drive or on my Google Drive? Probably quite easy to make a mistake there. So I would encourage you to make a clear-cut decision to archive all the extra things on your Z Drive which you really don't need on your Google Drive. I've got a bit of work to do there to clean them up, and to move over onto your Google Drive all of your current working documents, be that your latest student files or whether it's your teaching files for the coming year. If I can make one last comment about storing things on your Google Drive as opposed to your Z Drive. Now, the one thing to note is that if you have very large files, they do have to be transferred via the internet up onto Google Drive, and then via the internet back down to your other PCs. This could take up quite a lot of your bandwidth or your download capacity if you go and store quite large files in your Google Drive. By large files, I mean things which are greater than half a meg, like photos or video files. So if you're a student and you've got some photos, you probably find that you do want to be storing them on your Z Drive, for the projects that you might be working on, and then removing them. Or if you're working on a Movie Maker file, for instance, you would want to have that project on your Z Drive as opposed to on your Google Drive. Of course, once we have access to high-speed internet, and I'm thinking of the NBN, then this problem would be removed. Because we would quite easily be able to store quite large files or transfer quite large files onto our Google Drive quickly. So until that comes about, we probably should be aware of the fact that anything under half a meg will probably work out alright for us, but anything bigger than that, be it a Movie Maker project file, a video or a photo, moving those things onto your Google Drive probably isn't an efficient use of the resources we have here. So far we've just worked on Microsoft Office documents and stored them onto our Google Drive and accessed them via our Google Drive app on the two PCs. So now we want to have a look at Google Docs, because Google Drive provides for us a suite of other products which you could use to create all of your work if you wish. Now, the reason why you might choose to use these products instead of Microsoft Office products is because at home you decided not to pay for a license to Microsoft Office. And Google Drive products are for free, the Google Docs, presentations and spreadsheets. You might have an old copy at home and its version's out of date, so therefore you've got a problem between school and home and taking documents and working there. And then another final really good reason is that you can access these documents anywhere where you have an internet connection. So it means that you can access them via an iPad, for instance, quite easily and work on them. So I'm going to create, first of all, a new folder. I'm going to call this Google Drive. I could have also created a folder right here, and within this folder I'm going to create a new document. So it's just opened up a Google Doc, this is called. I'm going to give it a title, all about birds. And the thing that Google Drive continuously does, you can see it working away up here, is it continuously saves your changes as you work. So there's no actual save button up here. Rather it just saves it back into your Google Drive as you go. So I'm going to just work quickly through a couple of things just to illustrate some features of Google Drive. You can see that it's quite a powerful editor, and all the time it's saving the changes as we go. So we just close it down and it's saved my All About Birds folder file here. So I can just as easily create presentations which work much the same as Microsoft PowerPoint presentations, and spreadsheets which work much the same. The other thing I can do, which is particularly handy, is that I can convert any of these documents to Google Docs if I choose to use that all the time as the way I'm going to edit my documents. So what it's done now is it's actually created another copy of this docx as a Google Doc, and it's opened it up here. So if I'm going to do that, I would delete my docx's, go through, export all of these to Google Docs. It's going to work away and do that for me. I'll just close them down as it opens them. So I'm still waiting for one more. I'm going to delete those two right there. And now I've got all of my documents here as Google Docs ready to work on. So I can open them up. And this is what I was working in Word before. Now I am editing in Google Drive. Very handy. And of course it's saving the changes immediately as I work. Now the other feature which I really like about Google Docs, and I'd encourage you to go ahead and use Google Docs for this reason, if you're storing everything up into your Google Drive, using Google Docs to produce your work, you're not having to rely upon Office at home, you don't have problems with versions, you've removed the problem of leaving your USB key at home, and if you, by chance, happen to delete this document, it goes into a place down here called trash. Now my trash is pretty full because I've been mucking around with a whole bunch of different things, but that document will have been moved to my trash folder. And now, within my trash folder, to actually trash it, I have to delete forever and say empty trash for it to go for good. If I want to reinstate it, I just restore, and back it goes. Oh, this was the one I wanted to do, restore. So now if I go back to my IST folder, there's the one I did by mistake. And the one I had deleted by accident, I've gone into my trash and restored it. So you do have a very, very, very secure method of storing your files if you choose to just use your Google Docs and store them into Google Drive. So this is a basic introduction to Google Drive, encouraging you to download the Google Drive app on your PC Once you've done that, you can start moving and migrating documents onto your Google Drive, and then following from there, you can make the choice as to whether or not you're going to work in Microsoft Office, or whether you're actually going to convert your documents into Google Docs and work in your documents using the Google products, being Google Docs, Google Presentation, etc. The advantage of being able to work from home on these documents, being able to access them from home is fantastic, and also from your other devices. Now, I'm pretty certain we're going to run into a couple of issues here or there, and I'm pretty certain you're also going to discover a whole bunch of other things it does, which we haven't covered in this simple video. So make sure that you ask plenty of questions if they come up. Most of the answers are available already on the internet, and you might find that your fellow students have already covered your problems if you happen to have any. So enjoy, and we hopefully will begin to move down this path as the way that we store and eventually author all our